The great hall of the Galactic Council fell silent. 500 alien leaders sat in a wide circle. They came from planets across the Milky Way. For thousands of years, they had kept peace among the stars. Admiral June stood at the center of the hall. His blue skin looked pale under the bright lights. In his six-fingered hand, he held a small device. It showed the latest battle reports. "The Kresh have destroyed another world," he said. His voice was steady, but his eyes showed fear. 3 billion lives lost. The Voidborn defenses failed. Whispers filled the hall. The war between the Kresh Dominion and the Voidborn Collective had raged for 2 years. At first, the Council thought it would end quickly. The Voidborn had better ships and weapons, but the Kresh had numbers. They sent waves of soldiers to die. They did not care about losses. "How many worlds does that make?" asked Ambassador Sung. She was small, with silver scales that caught the light. 17, replied Jun. "The Kresh target civilian planets to break the Voidborn will to fight." Elder Minja rose from his seat. His age showed in his slow movements and wrinkled gray skin. For 200 years, he had guided the Council. "We must intervene," he said. "This war threatens the balance of our galaxy." June nodded. "Our peacekeeping forces are not enough. The Kresh outnumber us. The Voidborn technology cannot stop their advance." The room grew quiet again. No one wanted to say what many were thinking. Until Ambassador Sung spoke. "There is one option we have not considered." All eyes turned to her. "Earth," she said. The word sent a wave of unease through the hall. Screens lit up around the room, showing images of a blue-green planet. "Earth is primitive," said a tall, thin counselor. "They have just reached their own moon. They have no faster-than-light travel. But they have something else," Sung replied. "Something the Kresh would fear." June understood what she meant. The Council had watched Earth for centuries. They saw how humans fought their wars, how they never stopped, how they changed their entire world to win. "You cannot be serious," Elder Minja said. "Humans are unpredictable. They fight among themselves for reasons we cannot understand. They are dangerous." "That is exactly why we need them," Sung argued. "The Kresh believe victory comes through sacrifice. Humans have proven they will sacrifice everything to win." The screens changed to show Earth's wars. Soldiers in trenches, cities burning, weapons that could destroy worlds. "We have agreements," said another counselor. "We do not interfere with developing worlds." "If the Kresh win this war, there will be no agreements left," Jun said. "No council, no peace." Elder Minjay shook his head. "You do not understand what you suggest. I have studied human history. They do not fight like we do. They do not know when to stop. When they go to war, they commit everything." "That is what we need now," Sung said. June looked at the battle reports again. Another Voidborn world was under attack. Billions more would die. "I propose we send a diplomatic mission to Earth," he said finally. "We make first contact and explain our situation." "And if they agree to help?" asked Elder Minja. June looked around the hall at the faces of 500 species. "Then we pray we can control what we unleash." The vote was close. Many feared humans more than they feared the Kresh. But in the end, desperation won. 3 days later, Captain Hyun prepared his ship for the journey to Earth. As his vessel left the Council station, he wondered if they had made a terrible mistake. The ship entered faster than light speed, heading toward a small blue planet where a species of warriors waited, unaware that the galaxy was about to call on them. Captain Hyun looked at the blue planet through the main screen of his ship, the celestial harmony. Earth was beautiful from space. Blue oceans, white clouds, green and brown land. His 6-member crew stood silent behind him. "Are we sure about this?" asked Officer Kang, his second in command. Hyun was not sure. The Council had given him clear orders: make peaceful contact, explain the war, and ask for help. But he had studied humans for the 3-week journey. They were different from any species in the council. "We have no choice," he said. "The Kresh destroyed another void-born world yesterday." The celestial harmony moved closer to Earth. Hyun expected to approach undetected. Their ship had the best cloaking technology in the galaxy. But suddenly, alarms sounded. "Captain, Earth defense systems have locked onto us," said Officer Lee at the scanner station. "They can see us." Hyun could not believe it. Earth technology should not be able to detect their ship. Before he could react, a message came through their communication system. "Unknown vessel, this is Admiral Kim of the United Earth Defense Force. Identify yourself and state your purpose." The voice was calm but firm. Hyun looked at his crew. They seemed as surprised as he was. "This is Captain Hyun of the Galactic Council vessel Celestial Harmony. We come in peace, seeking diplomatic contact with Earth." There was a pause. "Then, remain in your current position. We are sending a delegation to meet you." Within an hour, a small Earth ship approached. It was much less advanced than the Celestial Harmony, but Hyun noted its weapons systems were impressive for their technology level. The Earth ship docked with his vessel. 5 humans entered wearing blue uniforms. Their leader was a woman with short black hair and serious eyes. "I am Admiral Kim," she said. "Welcome to Earth space." Hyun bowed slightly. "Thank you for meeting us. We did not expect to be detected." Admiral Kim smiled slightly. "We have been watching the stars more carefully than you might think." They moved to the meeting room of the Celestial Harmony. Hyun noticed how the humans examined everything with sharp eyes. They seemed especially interested in the ship's weapons systems. "Why has the Galactic Council decided to contact us now?" asked Admiral Kim. "We have detected your observation satellites for decades." Hyun was shocked again. The humans knew they were being watched. "We are facing a crisis," Hyun explained. He activated a holographic display showing the galaxy. Red spots marked where the Kresh had destroyed worlds. "A war between 2 powerful groups threatens billions of lives. The Council needs help." Admiral Kim studied the map closely. "You want Earth to join your war. We hope Earth might help end it," Hyun said carefully. "The Kresh Dominion attacks civilian worlds. The Voidborn Collective cannot stop them alone. The Council's forces are not enough." The humans exchanged looks. Hyun could not read their expressions. "Show us everything," Admiral Kim said. "The enemies, their weapons, their tactics. Hold nothing back." For 2 hours, Hyun shared information about the war. He showed videos of Kresh attacks. He explained their brutal strategy of overwhelming numbers and sacrifice. He showed the advanced technology of the Voidborn. That was still not enough. The humans asked many questions. They wanted details about ship designs, weapon ranges, and battle formations. They asked about things Hyun had never considered important. "How do the Kresh treat prisoners?" asked a human officer named Jin. "They do not take prisoners," Hyun replied. The humans' faces hardened at this. When the briefing ended, Admiral Kim stood. "Captain Hyun, we will need to discuss this with our world leaders. Please allow us 3 days." Hyun nodded. "Of course." As the humans prepared to leave, Admiral Kim turned to him. "Your council fears us, don't they? That's why you waited so long to contact us." Hyun hesitated, then spoke truthfully. "Yes, we have seen your wars." Admiral Kim's face was serious. "Then you should know something. We fight hardest when defending others who cannot defend themselves." As the Earth ship undocked, Hyun felt a chill. He had come seeking help. Now he wondered if the Council had made a terrible mistake. Commander Do-Hyun stepped off his ship onto Earth soil. The Council had sent him to study human military capabilities. As the Council's top military analyst, he had seen the forces of hundreds of species. But humans were different. Admiral Kim met him at a military base called Pentagon. It was a simple building compared to Council structures, but Do-Hyun could see it was built to last through attacks. "We will show you everything," Admiral Kim said. Our leaders have agreed to be open with the council. For the next week, Do-hyun traveled around Earth. He saw training camps where human soldiers ran through mud carrying heavy packs. He watched fighter jets perform maneuvers that seemed impossible. He visited naval ships that could launch flying machines called aircraft. What surprised him most was not the technology. Earth weapons were simple compared to council races. What surprised him was how humans thought about war. "This is our war college," explained General Han, a man with gray hair and serious eyes. They stood in a room filled with young officers studying maps and screens. "Here we teach our best military minds to think in new ways." Do-hyun picked up a book from a table. Its title was The Art of War by Sun Tzu. "This book is over 2,500 years old," General Han said. "Yet we still study it. It teaches that the best victory is the one that requires no battle." "You prepare for peace by studying war?" Do-hyun asked, confused. "We prepare for all possibilities," General Han replied. Later, Do-hyun sat in a room with Earth's top military leaders. They showed him videos of their past wars. Soldiers fighting in fields, forests, deserts, and cities. Ships battling on oceans, planes dropping bombs. "This was our World War II," Admiral Kim explained. "It ended 80 years ago. 60 million people died." Do-hyun could not hide his shock. "You fought against yourselves. With such losses." "Yes," said General Han. "And then we change. We built systems to prevent such wars between major powers." "But you still fight," Do-hyun said. "Smaller conflicts, yes," nodded Admiral Kim. "We are not perfect." On his final day, Do-hyun visited a museum of war history. He saw old weapons and uniforms, pictures of battles, videos of soldiers. One display caught his attention. It showed a small country fighting against a larger one. "What is this?" he asked his guide, Major Choi. "Vietnam," said Major Choi. "A war where a smaller, less advanced force defeated a larger, more powerful one through determination and adaptive tactics." Do-hyun thought about the Kresh and their massive numbers. "We call it asymmetric warfare," Major Choi continued. "Fighting in ways your enemy does not expect, using your weaknesses as strengths." That night, Do-hyun sent his report to the council. His hands shook as he wrote it. "Humans lack our advanced technology. Their ships cannot travel between stars. Their weapons cannot destroy planets. But they understand war in ways we do not. They have fought thousands of conflicts among themselves. They have learned from each one. Most concerning is their concept of total war. When humans believe their cause is just, they commit everything to victory. Their entire society changes to support war efforts. Their industries, their economies, their daily lives, all focus on winning. If the Council brings humans into this conflict, the Kresh will face an enemy unlike any they have known. Humans will not follow our rules of war. They will adapt. They will find Kresh weaknesses. They will exploit them without mercy. My recommendation: either keep humans out of this war entirely, or be prepared for a conflict that will change the galaxy forever." Back at the council, Admiral Jun read the report. He looked up at Elder Minja with worried eyes. "What have we started?" he whispered. Elder Minja had no answer. The great hall of the Galactic Council was louder than it had been in 1,000 years. 500 voices shouted at once. Some pounded their tables. Others stood and pointed at each other. Commander Do-hyun's report about humans had caused chaos. "Order. We must have order." Elder Minji's voice finally cut through the noise. The room slowly grew quiet. "We will speak one at a time, as we have for 10,000 years." Ambassador Ju stood first. Her planet had been attacked by the Kresh 3 months ago. Half its population was gone. "I have seen the faces of those who lost everything to the Kresh," she said. Her voice shook with emotion. "I have walked through cities turned to ash. My people beg for help. If humans can fight the Kresh, we must ask for their aid." Many council members nodded, but Elder Minja raised his hand. I have studied the report carefully, he said. Let me share what I learned about humans. The large screen behind him lit up with images from Earth. It showed rows of missile launchers, submarines hidden under oceans, planes that could drop bombs that destroyed entire cities. For 50 years, humans pointed thousands of nuclear weapons at themselves. Elder Minje explained. They called it mutually assured destruction. Each side knew that if they attacked, both would be destroyed. They lived this way for decades. The council members watched in silence. Is this the mind of a species we want in our war? Elder Minje asked. One that creates weapons that could destroy their own world. Ambassador Sung stood next, but they did not use these weapons. They showed restraint. Only because they feared their own destruction, said Elder Minje. And now we offer them a war where they face no such threat. The Kresh cannot reach Earth. Captain Hyun, who had spent time with humans during first contact, rose to speak. All eyes turned to him. I have met these humans, he said. They are not just warriors. They value peace. They create beautiful art and music. They care for their children and their elderly. He paused, looking around the room. But they prepare for war with an intensity I have never seen. When I told Admiral Kim about the Kresh attacks on civilian worlds, I saw something change in her eyes. It was not fear. It was not anger. It was purpose. The debate continued for days. Some council members wanted human help immediately. Others wanted nothing to do with Earth. Many remained unsure. Then the news came. Another void-born world had been attacked. The Kresh had used a new weapon. 3 billion more lives were lost in a single day. The images from the destroyed planet filled the council screens. Broken cities, burning forests, bodies floating in ruined oceans. Ambassador Juwoo wept openly. How many more must die while we debate? Admiral Jun stood slowly as head of the council's military. His words carried weight. I have studied Commander Do-yeon's report, he said. Humans are dangerous, yes, but the Kresh are destroying worlds while we talk. We need someone who can fight in ways the Kresh do not understand. Someone who can adapt faster than they can. He looked at Elder Minje. I know you fear what humans might do in this war. So do I. But I fear more what the Kresh will do if we do not stop them. The room fell silent. I call for a vote, said Admiral Jun. Do we formally ask Earth to join this war? The council members cast their votes one by one. It was closer than any vote in council history. But in the end, desperation won over fear. The motion passes, Elder Minje announced, his voice heavy. We will ask Earth to join the war against the Kresh. As the council members left the hall, Admiral Jun turned to Captain Hyun. Return to Earth, he said. Tell them we need their help, but make sure they understand the rules of warfare in this galaxy. Captain Hyun nodded, but he wondered if humans would follow any rules at all once the fighting began. Admiral Jun led the council delegation to Earth. His ship landed at a place called Geneva, where world leaders had gathered. The blue sky and green trees looked peaceful. It was hard to believe this planet had seen so many wars. The meeting room was large, with a round table. Leaders from all Earth nations sat together. They wore formal clothes and serious faces. Admiral Jun noted how they sat in groups based on alliances and old friendships. Thank you for receiving us, Admiral Jun began. The Galactic Council has voted to formally request Earth's help in the war against the Kresh Dominion. Earth's Secretary General nodded. We have reviewed the information Captain Hyun provided. We have questions before we decide. What followed surprised the council members. The humans did not ask about payment or rewards. They asked about rules. What are the laws of war in your galaxy? Asked Defense Secretary Taeyong. She was a small woman with sharp eyes. Admiral Jun explained the council's rules. No attacks on civilian worlds. No weapons that cause long-term damage to planets. No killing of surrendered enemies. The Kresh ignore these rules, Admiral June added. That is why we are losing. The humans exchanged looks. What role do you see Earth playing in this conflict? Asked General Nam, head of Earth's combined military forces. Admiral June showed them the Council's plan. Earth would provide defensive support for threatened worlds. Human advisors would help plan strategies. Earth ships would join Council fleets as support. You want us to play a limited role, said Admiral Kim. She had been quiet until now. Yes, said Admiral June. Your technology is not as advanced as ours. Your ships cannot travel as fast or fight as effectively. The room grew quiet. Admiral Kim looked at General Nam, who nodded slightly. That assessment is based on what we have shown you, Admiral Kim said carefully. It does not reflect our full capabilities. Admiral June felt uneasy. What do you mean? Secretary Taeyong leaned forward. When we learned we were not alone in the galaxy, we prepared. We have ships and weapons we did not show your observers. And tactics we did not discuss, added General Nam. Admiral June looked at his fellow council members. They seemed as surprised as he was. If we commit to this war, said Admiral Kim, we commit fully. We will not send a few ships or advisors. We will fight to win. The Council expects all members to follow our rules of engagement, Elder Minji said firmly. We will respect your rules where possible, said Secretary Taeyong. But we have one condition. If the crash targets civilians, we respond as we see fit. This was not what the Council wanted. They wanted Earth's help, but on their terms. They wanted control. You speak as if you've already decided to join, noted Admiral June. We decided the moment you told us civilians were being targeted, replied Secretary Taeyong. We're just establishing how we will fight. The Earth leaders left to discuss in private. When they returned an hour later, the Secretary General spoke for all of them. Earth will join your war against the crash, he said. We will send our ships and soldiers. We will help defend your worlds. Admiral June felt relief, but also worry. Thank you. The Council welcomes Earth's support. But understand this, the Secretary General continued. His voice was now harder. We fight to end wars, not to maintain them. If the crash harms civilians, they will learn why Earth's history of warfare frightens even our friends. As the meeting ended, Admiral June spoke quietly to Elder Minja. I fear we have not gained an ally, he said. We have unleashed a force we cannot control. Elder Minja watched the humans leave the room. The crash wanted war. Now they will learn what war truly means. Officer Chunho stood in amazement as he watched the Earth shipyards. Just 1 month ago, these massive spaces were making cargo ships and small space stations. Now they built warships. As the Council's military liaison to Earth, Chunho was sent to observe how humans prepared for war. What he saw shocked him. How many ships will be ready next month? He asked General Suman, his guide. 50 heavy cruisers and 200 smaller attack ships, she replied. By the month after, we will double that number. Chunho could not believe it. The Council might build 10 ships in that time. How is this possible? He asked. General Suman led him through a factory where thousands of workers built ship parts. When humans face a common threat, we work together in ways we normally don't. We call it wartime production. Everywhere Chunho looked, he saw humans working with purpose. They converted car factories to make ship engines. They turned steel mills into weapon forges. They changed clothing plants to make spacesuits. Your people seem almost eager, he said to General Suman. Humans have always found purpose in defending others, she replied. It unites us like nothing else. Chunho's reports to the Council grew more worried each day. The humans were not just building Council-designed ships. They were creating new ones. Smaller, faster ships that could attack from many directions. Ships with thick armor in some places and none in others. Why make ships with weak points? Chunho asked an Earth engineer named Ta. The Kresh expect ships to be protected all over, Tide explained. Our ships will have heavy armor where it matters and none where it doesn't. This makes us faster and lets us carry more weapons. Junho watched as human soldiers trained for space combat. They practiced fighting in zero gravity. They learned to use council weapons and made changes to improve them. "Your rifles are well made," said a soldier to Junho. "But they're too complex. In battle, simple is better." He showed Junho how they had made the council rifles easier to fix when damaged. Most disturbing to Junho was how humans talked about the Kresh. They studied everything about their enemy, how they fought, how their ships worked, what they believed. "The Kresh fight in large groups," said General Suman during a strategy meeting. "They overwhelm with numbers. They accept high losses, but they always attack the same way, directly, with full force. That is their strength," said Junho. "No," corrected Admiral Kim. "That is their weakness. They are predictable. They don't adapt. We will use that against them." Admiral Kim showed Junho their battle plans. The humans would not fight the way the Council did. They would not meet the Kresh in big fleet battles. They would attack in small groups. They would strike from unexpected directions. They would hit and then disappear. "This is not how wars are fought in the galaxy," Junho protested. "It is how we will fight this one," said Admiral Kim. One evening, Junho walked with General Suman through a memorial park. Stone statues showed soldiers from Earth's past wars. "Why do you remember your wars this way?" Junho asked. "To honor those who fought, to remind us of the cost, to make sure we remember why we must sometimes fight," she answered. Junho looked at the faces of stone soldiers. They looked both sad and determined. "I think I understand your people better now," he said. "You hate war." "Yes," said General Suman, "which is why we work so hard to end wars quickly." Junho sent his final report to the Council that night. "The humans are ready. They have built a fleet that will surprise the Kresh. They fight in ways we have never seen. They think differently about war. They do not seek glory in battle. They seek only to end the threat. The Kresh have never faced an enemy like this. May the stars help them." The Vega star system glowed blue on the command screen. Admiral Kim stood on the bridge of the Earth flagship Thunder. Around her, human officers worked at their stations. The ship hummed with power. In this system, a void-born colony was under attack. 3 million civilians faced death. The Kresh had sent 100 warships to destroy the planet. "All ships report ready, Admiral," said Captain Jin, her second in command. Admiral Kim nodded. The Earth fleet had arrived just hours ago. 50 human warships waited for her orders. The Council had asked them to hold a defensive line at the edge of the system. "Captain Jin, signal all ships," she said. "We're not going to wait for the Kresh to reach the colony." Jin looked surprised. "The Council ordered us to defend only." "We will defend by attacking," Admiral Kim replied. "Break the fleet into 5 strike groups. Tell each group to take their targets from Attack Plan Delta." The Earth ships moved into position. Unlike the big, heavily armed Council ships, Earth vessels were smaller and faster. They split into groups and headed toward the Kresh fleet from different directions. On the Council observation ship, Elder Minje watched with alarm. "What are they doing?" he demanded. "They were supposed to form a defensive line." The Council military advisor looked worried. "They're attacking the Kresh directly. 5 separate groups. This is not the plan we agreed on." Elder Minje sent an urgent message to Admiral Kim. "Return to defensive position immediately." Admiral Kim read the message but did not change her orders. "The Kresh expect us to defend," she told her officers. "They don't expect us to attack them from multiple directions at once." The Kresh fleet continued toward the colony, ignoring the approaching human ships. They had faced Council forces many times. They knew the Council always fought defensively, trying to protect worlds rather than attack Kresh ships. "They don't see us as a threat," said Captain Jin. "They will," Admiral Kim replied. The first Earth strike group hit the right side of the Kresh fleet. They fired precisely at the engines of the Kresh ships. The second group attacked from the left, targeting weapons systems. The third group struck from above, hitting command centers. The Kresh ships tried to form a defensive circle, but it was too late. The Earth ships were too fast, their attacks too precise. On the Thunder, Admiral Kim watched the battle unfold. "Strike Group 4, begin attack run," she ordered. The fourth group of Earth ships drove straight into the heart of the Kresh fleet. They took heavy fire. 3 Earth ships exploded. "They're sacrificing themselves," Elder Minja said in horror as he watched from the Council ship. But the Earth ships had created a gap in the Kresh defenses. Now Strike Group 5, led by the Thunder, attacked through this opening. "All ships target their flagship," ordered Admiral Kim. The Thunder took damage as it pushed forward. Alarms sounded on the bridge. A console exploded, injuring an officer. "Hull breach on Deck 3, reported Captain Jin. "Continue the attack," Admiral Kim said calmly. The Thunder and 5 other ships reached the Kresh flagship. Their weapons fired as one. The massive Kresh vessel shuddered, then broke apart in a ball of fire. Without their command ship, the Kresh fleet fell into chaos. Some ships tried to retreat. Others fought on without coordination. Within hours, it was over. 60 Kresh ships destroyed. 30 more captured. The rest had fled. The colony was saved. On the Council observation ship, Elder Minja received the battle report with growing horror. "This is not what we asked for," he said to the military advisor. "They were supposed to defend, not annihilate." "I've never seen anything like it," the advisor replied. "The Kresh outnumbered them 2-1. They should have lost." Elder Minja stared at the screen showing the debris of Kresh ships. "We wanted their help to slow the Kresh advance. Instead, they changed the nature of this war." He sent a message to Admiral Jun at the Council. "The humans don't fight like we do. They take damage to create openings. They sacrifice ships to win battles. They fight to destroy the enemy, not just to defend." The reply came an hour later. "I fear we've unleashed something we don't understand. The Kresh have noticed. They're pulling back from 3 other systems. They fear the humans." As the Thunder limped back to the Earth fleet, Admiral Kim received a message from a Council ship. "Why did you ignore our battle plan?" She sent a simple reply. "Because your plan would have let the Kresh keep fighting. Our plan ended the threat." 3 weeks after Earth joined the war, everything changed. Earth ships had fought in 12 battles. They had won every time. The Kresh had lost over 500 ships. 7 Kresh worlds had surrendered without a fight. Admiral Jun could not believe the reports. No one had ever defeated the Kresh so quickly. Then came the most surprising news of all. The Kresh Dominion wanted to talk. They had sent a message to the Galactic Council. They wished to discuss peace terms. The council chamber was full as Elder Minja read the message aloud. "The Kresh Dominion offers to end all attacks on Voidborn and Council worlds," he read. "They will return to their borders. They will pay for damage done." The council members looked at each other in shock. The Kresh had never offered peace before. "There is one condition," Elder Minja continued. "Earth must withdraw from the conflict. No human ships can remain in Kresh space." Ambassador Sung stood up. "They fear the humans," she said. "After centuries of war, after billions of deaths, it is humans who have made the Kresh seek peace." "We should accept immediately," said a council member. "Not without consulting Earth," Admiral Jun replied. "They are our allies now." The next day, the council met with the Kresh Supreme Commander. He was tall with rough gray skin and 4 arms. His eyes showed fear, something no one had seen in a Kresh before. "Why do you seek peace now?" asked Elder Minja. The Kresh commander looked around nervously before speaking. "Your council races fight with rules, with honor, with predictability," he said. "We understood this war. We knew how to win." He pulled up images of Earth ships attacking Kresh forces. "But humans," His voice shook. Humans fight to end fights. They don't seek victory. They seek to make sure we cannot fight again. Admiral Kim and Secretary Taeyong represented Earth at the meeting. They listened quietly. After the battle at Vega, we studied these humans. The Kresh commander continued. We learned about their wars, how they'd fought themselves for thousands of years, how they always find ways to win, no matter the cost. He looked directly at the human representatives. Remove them from this war, he demanded. The council we can fight. Humans. He paused. Humans we cannot understand. The peace talks continued for days. The Kresh wanted Earth gone. The council wanted peace. Earth had demands of their own. We want guarantees for civilians, said Admiral Kim. And the Kresh must pay to rebuild the worlds they destroyed. In the end, they reached an agreement. The Kresh would return to their space. They would pay for rebuilding. They would never attack Council worlds again. As the final terms were signed, Admiral Jun received a private message from the Kresh commander. You don't understand what you've done by involving them. The message read, humans don't just fight wars. They end them permanently. For the sake of all spacefaring species, never let Earth join another war. 1 month later, the Galactic Council held a special ceremony. Earth was made a full member of the Council. Admiral Kim would be humanity's first representative. Her speech was short. Earth hopes never to fight for the Council again. But know this, should innocents face extinction, should civilians be targeted, Earth will answer the call. And those who wage such wars should pray we do not. That night, Admiral Jun spoke with Elder Minja. We feared Earth would make the war worse, said Admiral Jun. Instead, they ended it in 3 weeks. Elder Minja nodded slowly, because they understood something we did not. War is not about fighting. It's about ending the fight. Do you think the Kresh will attack again? Asked Admiral Jun. Elder Minja looked toward the Earth delegation. Admiral Kim was speaking with Ambassador Sung, both smiling. No, said Elder Minja. I think the galaxy has learned an important lesson. Never make humans your enemy. Across the stars, the news spread to all worlds. Peace had returned to the galaxy, brought by the most unlikely species, humans from Earth. Asterisk, the end asterisk.